Shut up and sit down.
What's the story, Internet?
Shut up and sit down.
What's the story, Internet? As you'll listen from the previous video, we are back. League football is back. International break is over. We can all rest easy. Everyone's in a great mood because of it. So, got a lot of Premier League matches coming up this weekend. However, I want to start around the rest of the leagues because there's some big matches in France and in Germany to keep an eye on. So, let's start off with France. We have first against second, PSG versus Lille. Both even on 63 points, although PSG's goal difference is vastly greater by 15. By 15. So, should be a thoroughly entertaining match. Last time out, previously to the international break, PSG beat Lyon 4-2, and Lille, what happened to Lille? Oh, they lost to Nimes, Nimes, however you say that. So, great result for Nimes, especially because they're in 18th. But, so Lille will want to bounce back. They'll hopefully have taken the international break to heart and taken some time to work on some drills, taken the experience that the international break provides and push on to beat PSG. PSG aren't anything to be scoffed at, though. I mean, they've got Neymar, they've got Mbappe and Herrera, Di Maria. I guess Di Maria, still haven't forgiven him for his time at United, but whatever. So definitely not a team to be underestimated. So one to watch out for in the league and there. That one is on Saturday, so keep an eye out for that one. Nothing thoroughly exciting over in La Liga or in the Serie A, unfortunately, so let's jump right over to Germany. Big match. Just like in France, it's first against second. Got Bayern Munich versus Red Bull Leipzig. So Bayern were able to pull away from Leipzig just before the international break. Because, where is it? So Leipzig won 1-0, but the match before that they drew 1-1 with Eintracht Frankfurt. So Bayern Munich were able to pull away a little bit to go 4 points ahead of them. But if Leipzig win, it'll pull the difference back to 1. So definitely a match to keep an eye out for, especially because Bayern Munich will be without Robert Lewandowski. So Thomas Muller tweeted out that it doesn't matter because they've got Leon Goretzka. I mean, yes, but at the same time, I don't know. Now, it probably won't be that much of a problem. Just throw Thomas Muller up front and he can do a job. Just look at what he did for Germany in 2010, and he's still a cracking player. So chuck him up front. I'm sure he'll do a job. I mean, Bayern have more midfielders than Sin. They just don't have any attackers. So throw Thomas Muller up front, put a cam behind him, and I'm sure they'll be sorted. So, but definitely one to watch out for since they are so close in the table. So moving over to the Premier League, we've got Chelsea versus West Brom. So a very important match for both teams. Chelsea have broken into the top 4, and they'll be looking to put pressure on Leicester and Manchester United and to put some parity between themselves and West Ham. However, West Brom will be looking to close the gap between themselves and Fulham, Newcastle and Brighton, in the hopes that Big Sam can work his magic and get them out of relegation. So we'll have to see what happens there. I think Chelsea are doing too well at the minute because of thanks to Thomas Tuchel. I mean, he came in and just absolutely changed the game up for them. And I can't see Chelsea losing this one. But it was the international break. Knocked them off kilter. Timo Werner went right back to old Timo Werner and got embarrassed by North Macedonia, and he missed that open goal from about a yard away. So can Tuchel pick up their spirits again? He probably will be able to, just because they were doing so well. But take a look at when Jose Mourinho came to Manchester United. 4-0, 4-0, 4-0, 4-1, 5-0, and then we go on the international break and lose for 2 months straight. It can knock you off kilter sometimes. So, on to the next one, Leeds United versus Sheffield United. Unfortunately, Sheffield United season is a little bit over. Not necessarily because of the place they are in the table. I mean, they're in 20th, but they're only 4 points behind West Brom. Yes, they are 12 points behind Fulham and 14 points behind Newcastle, but I think losing the manager in the middle of the season, especially such an influential manager, and not making any signings to speak of, I think it would almost be better for them at this point to go down, bring in a young, fresh manager and rebuild. Go to the academy, bring up some of the academy lads, sign some young, exciting players, sign some championship quality and bounce straight back, and then take the league by storm again when they come back. I think that's probably for the best. Leeds are in 11th at the moment. They're only 2 points behind Aston Villa, only 3 points behind Arsenal. So, yeah, they're not in any threat of relegation. Probably not going to make it into Europe, but they're in a very good position, especially for their first season back in the Premier League for donkey's years. So, yeah, I think the free-flowing style of play that Leeds have will just break down Sheffield too easily. And I can see this being quite a high-scoring game, 3-0, 4-0, something like that, especially with the form of Patrick Bamford. So I think Leeds are going to win this one. First big match of the weekend. Excuse me. We've got 2 big matches, and they're right back-to-back from each other. So we've got Leicester City versus Manchester City, first against third. Now, Manchester City is running away with the league a little bit, but that doesn't mean it's all shiddy-row, and it doesn't mean that the league is over yet. So, Leicester City been putting in some good performances recently. Let's have a look at their last couple of results just to compare. Yeah, they beat Manchester United in the quarterfinals of the FA Cup. They beat Sheffield United 5-0. They beat Brighton. So their last 3 results have been very positive. Will they be able to take that impetus after the international break? Only time will tell. Manchester City have just been running away with it, so same thing. Will they be able to bounce back from the international break? That's the biggest question, is will all these teams be able to come back from the international break and push on? Because some teams can, some teams can't. So we'll see how it goes. I think it should be an entertaining match. I don't think it's going to be very high scoring. I think it's probably going to be a 2-1 to Manchester City. But we'll see. I mean, in their last meeting, Leicester City did beat them 5-2? 3 Jamie Vardy penalties, but that was a different City back then. So the next big match of the weekend is Arsenal versus Liverpool. Now, both of these teams have dropped out of the top 4, so it's not a big match on the grand scheme of things for this season. However, if Liverpool win, they will go level on points with West Ham. And if Arsenal win, they will go within 1 point of Liverpool and Everton. So Arsenal could really do with winning this. I mean, both teams could really do with winning this. And I think that both of them will come out fighting and both of them will push on to try and get the victory. And because of that, I think it's going to be an end-to-end match. I think on recent form, I would say that Arsenal are going to win because Liverpool have just been so dire recently. But I think that they're one of those teams that's going to pick themselves up, dust themselves off after the international break and push on. I think they are one of those teams that's going to do that. I think the break will have helped them. Change of scenery, go and see some of the international teammates, come back, focus on Liverpool till the end of the season. So yeah, it'll be an interesting one to watch. I can easily see this being a draw, which wouldn't be good for either side, but I can see this being maybe a 1-1 or a 2-2, something like that. So on to the next one. Got Southampton versus Burnley. So Southampton have just been absolutely dire recently. 1 win in the last 5, and I think that stretches on even further actually. They did win in the FA Cup against Bournemouth, but lost to Brighton, lost to City, lost to Everton, lost to Leeds, drew with Chelsea, lost to Wolves, beat Wolves in the FA Cup, surprisingly, lost to Newcastle, lost to United 9-0, lost to Aston Villa, lost to Arsenal. So the only match they've won is against Sheffield United, and everyone's beaten Sheffield United except for Manchester United. So yeah, I think Burnley will take a lot of solace in that and will push on and overtake Southampton. Burnley have been performing very well recently, have pulled themselves up from the brink of relegation to being, 5 points clear of Newcastle in 17th and 7 points clear of Fulham in 18th. So if they can push on and even get a draw, I think that would be very beneficial to Burnley. So I can see that happening. They're completely level on goal difference, level on points, level on games played. The only thing that's in Southampton's favour is that they've won 9 and Burnley have drawn 9. So that's keeping them in the lead. So I think it's going to be a 1-1 draw, personally. That's my prediction. Next match is Newcastle versus Tottenham. Jose's men desperately need a comeback. Yes, they won against Aston Villa last time out, but matches before that they got knocked out of the Europa League by Zagreb. They lost the North London derby to Arsenal. They need a comeback, and they were having a little bit of a resurgence. They beat Burnley, they beat Fulham, they beat Palace, and then they won in the first leg against Zagreb. But then it all just plateaued and fell off. So, yeah, we'll have to see. Now, if they wanted to come up against any side, it would probably be Steve Bruce's Newcastle, who have just looked... If you want a team that's looked more shocking than Tottenham, Newcastle's your team. No wins in the last 5, 2 losses and 3 draws, and they're in 17th. The only reason they're not in the relegation zone is because Fulham is 2 points below them. Other than that, they'd be well and truly in there and probably stuck. So, yeah, if Tottenham beat Newcastle, that won't be good for for them, because it will mean that there's the opportunity for Fulham to overtake them and come out of the relegation zone for the first time in months and months and months and months. So, and I can see Newcastle sort of getting stuck in the quicksand and just being sucked in. So, I think Tottenham's going to win this. I think it's going to be a 2 or 3-0. So, Aston Villa versus Fulham. I just mentioned Fulham, since they are right behind Newcastle. I think Fulham will push and push and push Aston Villa. Aston Villa will want to win because they're still there or thereabouts to get into Europe. But I think Fulham will push them to the brink because they know Newcastle's got a very tough game against Tottenham. And if they can push, they could come out of the relegation zone, and that could be the springboard for Scott Parker's men to continue in the Premier League and survive. So I think Fulham will look at this match and think, you know what, we're going to take this, we're going to push, and we're going to get it. So I'm going to predict, a bit of an upset, but I'm going to predict a Fulham win here. Nothing against Aston Villa. I just think that Fulham have got more at stake here, and I think that they'll need to push to get out of relegation. So, next one is Manchester United versus Brighton. Brighton have not been doing too well as of late. Oh no, tell a lie. They beat Newcastle, they beat Southampton, lost to Leicester, lost to West Brom, lost to Palace. That's where I was thinking of, was the matches before that. It's international break, scrambles your brain sometimes. So yeah, since their win at Liverpool on the 3rd of February, they've had a mixed bag of results. So Manchester United have been performing very well. Besides the loss in the FA Cup to Leicester, we've beaten AC Milan, we've beaten West Ham, we've beaten Manchester City. So I think that on form you have to say Manchester United, but as I've said in this video before, and as I undoubtedly will say again before it's over, even though there's only 2 matches left, it all depends on the reaction to the international break. So, can Manchester United pick themselves up? I think they can, because Harry Maguire scored, got a lot of confidence from the international break. The only thing is Marcus Rashford going to be fit? Because that would be very, very important. But Luke Shaw is on an absolute blinder at the minute. Bruno Fernandes is Bruno Fernandes. So I think Brighton will have to put in a shift to shock Manchester United, but not that it's not possible. I think it is very possible. Look at our meeting earlier on in the season, where we only won thanks to the penalty in the 98th minute. So, I think it's going to be an entertaining match, but I'm gonna stick with my lads and say that they're going to win. So, especially because we need to keep pressure on Manchester City. If we win this and win our game in hand, that gives us 6 points. That puts us up to 63 points. That puts us 8 points behind City. Doable. Come on, lads. So, Everton versus Crystal Palace. Everton have been so up and down recently. I mean, let's have a look at their last results. They lost in the FA Cup. They lost to Burnley. They lost to Chelsea. They beat West Brom. They beat Southampton. They beat Liverpool. Lost to City. Lost to Fulham. Beat Tottenham. Drew with Manchester United. Beat Leeds. Lost to Newcastle. Drew with Leicester. Beat Sheffield Wednesday. Beat Wolves. Beat Rotherham. Lost to West Ham. Only just beat Sheffield. Lost to Manchester United. Beat Arsenal. Their results are so all over the place. It's like when you're playing Battleship and someone keeps missing. That's what Everton's results look like at the minute. Miss, 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 hit. Miss, 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 hit. Miss, 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 hit. Oh, you sunk my Battleship, finally. So, can they turn it around? Can they put pressure on Liverpool? If they win and Liverpool lose, they overtake them, go above Tottenham and potentially into 6th. Level on points with West Ham. They'd be one below them because of goal difference. So, yeah, should be very interesting. Crystal Palace have been pretty dire at the moment. So they've had some good results though. The one against Manchester United. They beat West Brom last time out. They beaten Brighton. They lost to Burnley, lost to Leeds, beat Newcastle, beat Wolves, lost to West Ham, battered by City, drew with Arsenal. So again, it's sort of two teams that are just so all over the shop at the minute. It's so hard to predict what's going to happen. And then final match of the weekend, it's on Monday. It's the Battle of the W's. It's Wolverhampton Wanderers versus West Ham United. West Ham have just been in incredible form recently. Yes, they lost to Manchester United, but other than that, they've just been on a fantastic run. And I think that Wolves are going to find it hard to keep them down, especially with the performance of Thomas Souček. I mean, yet another great performance for the Czech Republic. And he just keeps going from strength to strength to strength. So Wolves going to have a hard time. And just like Everton and Crystal Palace in the previous fixture, such an up and down mixed bag of a season where you never know which Wolves are going to pop up. Is it the Wolves of last season who was running riot? Or is it the Wolves of this season who's just not even running at all? They're at a sort of casual jog. So I'm going to predict a West Ham win though. And I think that will put pressure on Chelsea. It'll put pressure on Spurs, Liverpool and Everton around them. And it will just create this fantastic atmosphere in and around the European places. So, wouldn't be surprised if Wolves pulled it out. I just think that West Ham have been performing way too well recently. So, yeah, I think they're going to find it too hard to compete with them. So, let's pop over and tell you which TV channels these are going to be on. Chelsea versus West Brom is on NBCSN. So is Leeds United versus Sheffield United. So is Leicester City versus Manchester City. Arsenal versus Liverpool is also on NBCSN, but it's also on Telemundo. Moving on to Sunday, Southampton versus Burnley is on Peacock. Newcastle versus Spurs, Aston Villa versus Fulham are both on NBCSN. So is Manchester United versus Brighton, but it's also available on Universo. And then on to Monday, both Everton versus Crystal Palace and Wolves versus West Ham are available on Peacock. So that will do for me. I'll be back with you on Monday for a review of the weekend's football. Let's see if all the big matches that I predicted are as big as I think they're going to be, or if they were bore draws. But plenty of football to sink our teeth into, plenty of football to bring us back from the international break, plenty of football in the lead up to the European, the Champions League, etc. next week. So, but in the meantime, I hope you're all staying safe, keeping out of trouble. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you all have a wonderful day. And until next time, ta-ra for now.